Mental breakdown, quarter life crisis. Nothing seems real. It doesn't feel like it's a new year. What the fuck is going on? TikTok is banned. My personal life, my relational life, my everything is in shambles. Pick me up off of the floor. Life is like uppercutting RKO and fucking slamming me into the curb. I'm really hoping the audio sounds way better than it did the last time, but we'll see. I just hate the echo in my apartment, honestly. I think it's because I don't have, I guess, that much stuff, or maybe because it's only me. The echo is ridiculous when I don't use a mic, but also I'm not used to using a mic, so I'm not used to like how close or far I need to hold it. So work with me here, y'all. Work with me. It's gonna get better, I promise. Hi. Welcome or welcome back to the Shania Diaries. And this is episode 3. Is this a quarter life crisis? Let's get to the journal topic for today. Grab your pen, your pencils, a drink, a light snack, whatever you need. And I'm gonna put the question on the screen and I'm gonna read it out loud and answer. Just make sure that you're writing your response down in your journal, or if you feel comfortable enough, share it in the comments. I'm trying to create a community where we all feel comfortable enough being vulnerable about how we feel about day-to-day things, y'all. We have real emotions. It's okay. It's okay. But of course, don't feel like you have to share until you're comfortable. Like I said, this is a safe space. Let's get to it. What challenges may have shaped you in a positive way, even though they may have been painful? I'm really gonna have to think on this one for a second. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. I think of these journal questions, and then right when I think of it, I write it down and I don't look at it. So just know this is off the dome, just like yours is gonna be. Because journaling is so personal, it's helped me a lot through my mental health journey. So whew, okay. So positivity is based on perception first. So let's say that. So not everyone may perceive. Let me stop doing that, Shania. Like, see, you're already overthinking. Don't let the intrusive thoughts win. Just write the first thing you think of, because I'm literally overthinking. So one of the challenges that I think shaped me in a positive way, even though it was painful, was my childhood. Um, I've spoken about it on the internet a little bit here and there. It's a subject that I'm pretty open about because I know that my situation was not the best, but it was also not the worst. And I think being more open about sharing our experiences will create better parents and parenting habits in the future, not only for our parents, but other people and ourselves. First, I'd like to say this is not bashing either one of my parents because, my dad, because if you did not know, my dad is now deceased as of last year on Christmas. So this is not to bash either one of my parents, and love my mom down, period. Love you, Trina. A. What I can say is that my parents did the best with what they had. And what I can say is that mental health was not very promoted in my family. Just like most Black families in America, like we are not talking about mental health in the household. Like in our generation, yes, but like when we were growing up, it was more of like, suck it up. What are you crying for? You have nothing to cry for. At first, initially created, I was a very emotional child, but I felt like I couldn't express it. So I think the good that came out of the situation, being able to turn all of that into the person I am today, even though I didn't have the best parenting and like parent situation growing up, I didn't let it define me as an adult. At first, I did. I'm not gonna lie. If you met me like 19 to maybe like 22, I would even give it to 23. I was such a victim of my circumstances, but then I was wondering why I wasn't progressing the way I wanted to. Like, I would have short wins and short victories, but like, as for longevity of what I was looking for and like pure joy, I wasn't receiving that. Until I decided, like, okay, cool. My parents were not the best. They did not do the best. They did not talk to me correctly all the time. They did not treat me the best all the time. It was borderline abusive. But what I got from those experiences is that I give people extreme compassion. Like, I'm able to be so empathetic and walk in somebody else's shoes before they even ask me to. I think my level of empathy is one of the things that I love and hate about myself because it bites me in the ass in my personal relationships. And that's why I need to work harder and better with forming boundaries. But I like it in the sense where it's like I can connect with anybody. Again, one of the reasons I created this podcast, because it's like the amount of people I've connected with, the amount of lives I've saved with just being able to be vulnerable and authentic. The first time somebody told me that I saved their life, I genuinely like cried because I remember being in high school, my senior year, leading those assemblies, being, oh, Shania, she runs the ASB, she does this, she does that, she plays basketball, being so depressed and about to be admitted in a mental hospital for suicide ideation and attempts. Like, let's be for real and talk about it. I was presenting myself as this outgoing, fierce, like confident, like badass person, or at least I was trying to, but on the inside I was fucking dying because I didn't know who I was, and I was so used to like trying to be liked. Like being a chameleon, I like my therapist, like I told her, like, I was so used to being a chameleon. It took me to like moving to Texas, being on my own and being by myself to like really find who I was and who I wanted to be. So all that to say, those are challenges that shape me in a positive way because I think it's definitely a positive quality to be empathetic and to be able to like give people grace because this world is already hard. Sometimes people are just going through shit, honestly. Okay, journal topic number 2. What is my most irrational fear right now? We get into the nitty gritty. I think this one's this one is like the easiest one for me because I literally talk to my therapist about this every week. The fear of failure, fear that I'll never be satisfied because no matter how much I accomplish and how many goals I crush, I'm always like, what's next? I never take time to celebrate or be excited or like be able to like sit in my blessing. And I think one of my goals for this year is to be able to like or to practice enjoying the process more. Enjoying where I'm at, enjoying like the small things in life because I'll never be able to get these back. I get so like carried away with I need to rush through today so I can get through this goal because how many more days so I can accomplish this. Like I'm very like factual. Like I'm very like I'm a type A like numbers person. Like I need to write down all the numbers. I need to make sure they look good front and backwards. It might bring a little relief, but like there's a bigger chance that it might not. I think that's my most irrational fear right now because like I'm self-sabotaging and preventing myself from that because I'm overthinking. I have huge imposter syndrome because I know that I'm in for great things. I know that like I could touch a lot of people. I've had so many friends for years tell me, you need to start a podcast. You need to start a podcast. I've had random people on the internet tell me, like, you're great at this, like, start a podcast. And I've even known and wanted it for myself for so long, but I've tricked myself into thinking that nobody's going to care about what I have to talk about. And realistically, they might not. But it's the fact that I'm like being consistent and committing to myself, my dreams, and I'm still trying anyways. So that is like my biggest irrational fear. And I'm currently trying to beat it as holding myself accountable. What is your biggest irrational fear? Drop it in the comments. Make sure to journal it. But that is our last journal topic for today. I want to get a new couch so bad. Like, I cannot stand this couch. I've had it since I moved to Texas for like 3 years, I think. I hate how it has no back support. So, like, damn near fall through the fucking couch. So next we have the mental health portion. So as explained to the title, I feel like I'm having a quarter life crisis. Honestly, mental breakdown, quarter life crisis. Nothing seems real. It doesn't feel like it's a new year. What the fuck is going on? TikTok is banned. My personal life, my relational life, my everything is in shambles. Pick me up off of the floor. Life is like uppercutting RKO and fucking slamming me into the curb. Can a bitch get up, right? No more breaks left in the year. We're only 2 weeks in and I'm getting mollywopped. Fine. If that's what it has to be. Like in the past 2 weeks, my car has broken down for like a flat tire or a bent rim 3 times in total. I've had to buy new tires and new rims twice already. It's getting ridiculous. And I'm already having other car problems on top of that. That's just like materialistic shit. I'm struggling with finding like a healthy work life balance between like my job, my businesses, and like my personal life. I feel burnt out AF. Like constantly like chasing your dreams, trying to climb the corporate ladder because like you're not making enough. The only reason that people are so like hip on like getting like side hustles, second jobs isn't just because they enjoy what they're doing. It's because we need money. Like if you guys haven't seen like they're debating, it's because we need money. If you guys don't watch politics, that's fine. I don't either, but I do keep up on things here and there that affect me, and there is some political statements out there where people are fighting and saying like, hey, like we're not making enough money. The minimum wage to like livable wage gap is like freaking ridiculous. Like Americans are struggling, and like Congress and people like who are not living off of that, they don't see that as like a federal issue. They see it as a state issue, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All that to say, navigating even that, like my mental health in this political climate has been in the fucking dirt, especially because I'm smart and I pay attention to things and I see what's going on and I don't like it. It's very scary for me as an African American woman who believes in Jesus Christ. It's scary. But one thing God says is to fear not. He says that a whole lot and to have faith. So I've been practicing leaning into him, but it is scary. That's been affecting my mental health. My personal relationships have been affecting my mental health. I'm not dating right now. I'm not interested in dating. But even like past situationships that I had with men that are still affecting me today, like still dealing with those things, family problems, a lot of things that I can't control though. And that's the part that makes me feel like shit is because all these things individually I would body them. I would clear them. Even like two or three things. I would body them. When I tell y'all, I have been on my own since I've been on my own since I was 22, bodying this shit. But it wears you down after a while. Like right now, I don't feel like I'm in my feminine. I feel like I feel masculine as fuck. And it's because I feel like I'm in a protective mode. It's like all this shit's happening. It's like punching me in the face. Like what I was telling my therapist is like, I feel like I'm getting beat the fuck up right now. My life feels like the episode of Baddies where Rolly was beating up Slim. Like my life is Rolly and I'm Slim. Like, bruh, please. Please. So I'm just extremely tired. I have no energy. Like I'm having to set extreme boundaries with not only other people, but with myself because I now have to protect myself. So I feel like I'm in this masculine energy. I'm not feeling feminine. I'm not feeling pretty. I'm not feeling successful. I'm not feeling any of those things. I'm still me, like as a person, but like I don't feel it. And this is me after like being like in my pajamas, not taking care of myself like all week, barely eating, barely sleeping. Like now I'm at a spot where like I can show up and record a YouTube video and smile and shit. Like a lot of people are like, you're so strong. How do you do it? Blah, blah, blah. I'm literally not. I just show up when I'm strong enough to show face. But through everything that I'm going through, I've realized a pattern when I'm going through these periods of life that are extremely stressful. This is not the only time this is going to happen in life where everything is piling on top of each other because it's like I was saying before, one at a time, I will body this shit. But all at once, with the gravity of what I'm dealing with, it's too much for me to handle. And I feel like as someone who has created an identity through their hyper independence, it's hard for me to be vulnerable and say that I can't do it anymore, but I can't do it anymore. I can't manage it. I can't I can't sustain a happy life and me being satisfied still doing it. So I'm learning how to transition and it's confusing as fuck. Every day I wake up confused, honestly. All I can do is just pray for guidance, pray for favor, and pray that I pray that I'm doing what is aligned with God's vision for me. But other than that, like I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Like what? In one of the sermons I listened to this last week, I'm gonna put it on the screen somewhere. Because Darius Daniels is my favorite pastor. He's gotten me through a lot of stuff. I watch his online sermons and I also listen to his Bible studies during the week. He's great if you need somebody to listen and tap into. But he says something along the lines of the Lord will get you to move through absence of clarity and extreme discomfort. And that's literally how I feel right now is uncomfortable as fuck and confused as fuck. So I know that there's a big move and there's a big change and there's a big shift coming for me. It's just a matter of when and being consistent enough to be able to receive it and being in the right headspace and emotional space to be able to receive it. But the pattern that I've noticed about myself when I'm going through a lot of things is that I self isolate. Yes, I know healthy isolation is good for you. Um, you got to sit back and think and reflect, without other people's mouths in your ear. But I think for me, I do it in a way that's harmful because I isolate to the point where it's like it starts to affect me and the people who love me. Like when I was growing up, back on the parenting tip, one of the ways that both of my parents punished me growing up was isolating me. And I get it, like grounding without like your phone or like your whatever. But my parents would ground me for months without phone, without Wi Fi, without access to other people. Like I would still go to school and things like that, but they would take me out of sports and extracurriculars and take the TV cords and the Wi Fi cords and while they were at work and things like that. And in turn I got a lot of great skills like being able to talk to people and being able to write and articulate. I used to write stories and poems and draw and paint and sketch, and I think a lot of my artistic qualities flourish in that time, which is a huge positive. But now that I'm an adult, one of the negatives is when I'm going through things or when I'm in a position where I felt like how I would feel in those times, like overwhelmed, a lot of anxiety, stress, I isolate myself for months. Like I can go months without connecting with my friends, without connecting with my family. Like I have to be very intentional about that because of course, I talk to my mom every day. I genuinely enjoy talking to my mom every day. I do have to keep in mind that I need to connect. Like same with my friends and my family. Like I have to tell a lot of people like I don't connect with people as much as I probably should because I don't value family. I don't value relationships like other people do because whenever I was emotional or there was a situation, I would be shoved in the room by myself with nothing. It would get extreme at some points. Like my room would be stripped at some points, whatever. And if you parent like this, that's fine. This is not a parenting talk. I am not a parent. I'm not saying what parenting measures are good or even effective because I don't even fucking know. But what I'm going to say is it did affect me as an adult because now I isolate. Now, whenever I'm going through things, my mom is like, hey, like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I just need a moment. And I won't say anything until I'm fine. Like, I think that's the part that's the problem is that, like, you will not hear from me until I'm okay. And that could be months later. Like, and I just see it as like I'm just taking my time to myself. That's one thing that I am noticing and I do want to work through because I do want to be able to feel safe enough to express myself a little bit earlier. I don't think it needs to be months, maybe weeks would be more appropriate, but like months is like it's insane because, like I said, it not only ends up punishing myself, but it ends up punishing the people who love me too. Because even if they were the ones who hurt me, like eventually, like I'm a pretty forgiving person. There's some things that I will not forgive, but the things that I am willing to forgive, like if you give me time, I can do that. But like it's isolated time. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the mental health portion because that was a lot. But thank you for being vulnerable with me and allowing me a space to share. I appreciate it so much. Now let's get to elevation. Since TikTok is gone, what am I doing with my time now that I'm not scrolling? So, like I said, even if TikTok comes back later today, I'm still going to implement these habits because it's more important to be like doing other things than scrolling all the time. I'm not going to say that I'm never going to be scrolling. I'm not going to say that you're not going to always see me posting on TikTok, but the amount of hours that I was putting in scrolling, we're not doing that anymore. It's actually insane. I don't even want to look at my phone analytics because as a dual business owner, the amount of hours I was clocking into TikTok, like I will fall asleep watching TikTok. I will wake up watching TikTok. Like, no. No more of that. So here's what I'm gonna do now instead of scrolling. So for one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start doing like more puzzles and painting. So like I said prior, like I've always loved to paint. Like it's very fun for me. I'm not fucking Picasso or anything, but I could do a little one too. Something just to like get me to stop thinking and just do something, make something pretty. And I think puzzles, I don't like super hard puzzles, so I'm not gonna lie. I might get a couple like baby puzzles, but just something to where like I'm not scrolling. It's something in my leisure. I love podcasts. So the thought of like doing a puzzle and listening to a podcast at the same time, I feel like that would take up a good amount of time. That would Oh, and another thing I've been looking into is adult coloring. Before TikTok shut down, I saw that people were going on live like doing adult coloring books. I think that's so cute because I like markers. I don't know why. I'm weird. I don't like colored pencils or like crayons, but like markers. I don't even like gel X pens. Like I like gel X pens when I'm journaling and writing, but that only. Like how people color with gel X pens, like I don't like that. But like if it's like a marker or paintbrush, sign me up. What I'm also looking into is getting back into fitness. I want to start taking a class, honestly. Like whether it's Pilates, kickboxing, I think self-defense is something that every woman should take and something that I've been looking to take just because it's always good to make sure you can able to like protect yourself. But yeah, so classes in general, they seem exciting. Even pole classes. Fun fact, I used to do pole classes a lot. It's super fun and it helps me tap into like my feminine energy more. Classes are definitely something that I'm gonna start implementing more or a more affordable route because I'm broke as fuck. Joining clubs like run clubs. Everyone loves run clubs. I've been to it once with my friends out here in DFW, and it was very fun. It's a very positive environment. I know the jokes last year that niggas be outside running. The next thing I want to do is read more books. So at first my goal was to read like 10 pages a day because I wanted to read 2 books in a month. I know that doesn't add up. I just needed to start from somewhere because I went from reading all the time to not reading at all like for the past 5 years. So yeah, I need to do something. Now I've been setting more of a time limit. So today I read for 45 minutes to an hour. I was gonna just say an hour, but that would be a lie because I think it was more towards like 52 minutes. But we'll be generous and give a range. 45 to an hour of reading. The book that I'm currently reading is Rocket Years. I forgot who it was by. It's a really good book so far. I feel like it's starting off slow. It's kind of boring. The purpose of the book, I feel like, is important. And basically, what it's about is like how your 20s is your rocket years, and whatever you do in your 20s is going to launch what happens later in your life. So, if you're interested in like self help books and like things like that, I would recommend this one. I'll let y'all know at the end, like what I overall rate it. But as of right now, it's so good so far. I think I'm just bored because I'm not used to reading. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn a new skill or start a new hobby. Like, we need to start utilizing all the things that we were exposed to on TikTok. Like, all the cool things that you saw people doing, like making rugs and doing pottery and all that other shit. Like, start doing it. Start trying that out. Like, one of the skills that I'm going to start is I'm actually going to learn how to start trading. I'm a financial consultant already, and I think that piqued the interest of me wanting to learn more about the stock market because I know the basis of how it works. I've had to pass certifications in order to keep my job. I saw a lot of women stock traders on TikTok. And the last thing I'm going to do is be more consistent with things that genuinely bring me joy. Like creating videos on YouTube and like creating content. I feel like I've let my own insecurities steal my joy for a long time, if I'm being honest, because nobody's ever told me my videos suck. If anything, I've only gotten positive things about me being on social media. Oh yeah, nobody's ever really given me like negative reviews. Yeah, when I was going viral for like the modeling, people were calling me a Sims and stuff. I think that was the most like hate I've gotten on social media, like a million people telling me I walk like a GTA character. But yeah, that was kind of hard at the time. But they didn't tell me to stop. No, they did. They did. Okay, I take that back. Let me rewind. Even though I got those negative comments, I still had a genuine passion for modeling and creating content. So I was still gonna do it regardless. Until I eventually let it all get to me, and not because of what the people were saying, but my head started confirming it. And like your thoughts are everything. So in turn, I'm gonna continue being consistent and showing up for the things that I'm passionate about. So you guys will get a video every week. Next week, I still need to upload episode 1. I just felt like this episode needed to come before that episode. So next week you might get 2 videos, or depending on how my life is going, you might only get that video. But either way, you're going to get video 1. Either way, you're going to at least get 1 video a week. And honestly, I want to transition later in the year to doing 2 videos a week because I know that I can do it and I know that it will make me happy. Like all in all, I want to be happy. This makes me happy. This is a form of therapy for me. At one point, one of my therapists told me like, because I was so busy, like accomplishing things and working, I didn't have time to journal, or at least I felt like I didn't. So my therapist was like, start recording voice memos. You don't have to journal. So that's even another way how it started. I just kept recording voice memos and I wouldn't even listen back to them. Like I remember, this is how you know I was unhinged. One of my breakups, well, my first real breakup from like my first real adult relationship, I would say, I recorded the breakup phone call in my recording for my notes. And y'all don't say shit because he knows that I recorded the phone call because I told him. But I recorded it because I told myself, I want to listen back to this so that I can never be this low to have a man say this shit to me again. Did I listen back to it? No, because I was humiliated that it even happened the first time. But the fact that I recorded it, like, and knew that I had it, it kind of brought me some sort of comfort in a weird way. So that's kind of what this does for me too. I'm fucking weird, okay? Like everyone, therapy's in a different way. This is just mine. So this is me showing up for myself and my mental health. And yeah. All right. So now we've made it to the business portion of the podcast. And today I want to talk about procrastination while being a business owner because it's so real. I don't know. How am I a type A procrastinator? How does that work? It's the truth though. Let's dive into it. So, tax season is approaching, and as you guys know, I do have 2 businesses. So, why I'm saying I procrastinated? Okay, Tigger, you want to say anything to the people? Okay, no. He just wanted to sit on his mommy. Okay. So, to prepare for tax season, my brother had already told me when I started my second business in May of last year, like, hey, you need to get a CPA or CFA, whatever the fuck it's called. Certified financial, I think it's like CFA. Yeah, whatever you need for your business to do your taxes and things like that, and just to keep all your finances together. And I also need to open up a business bank. Like I said last episode, I made some decisions early in my business that I didn't think through all the way. I think I was just in my excited I want to tell everyone era when I should have been in my let her cook era. And so I made a business decision that is costing me more money than it brought me basically. And not in a negative way, but in like a lesson learned way. So there's some things that I need to do legally with amending my business to be able to resolve that issue. So I think that is why like the anxiousness of dealing with that situation caused me to procrastinate on it. And then the fucking BOI report that was mandatory, then not mandatory, then mandatory, then not mandatory was stressing me out. And so that made me procrastinate even more because I was like, okay, well, it's not mandatory now. Oh, wait, it's mandatory. Oh, wait, it's not mandatory. All in all, I procrastinated on all of it. It's about to be tax season. I don't have a business bank account. I do have a CFA that I work with, but yeah, I don't have a business bank account. Luckily, I saved all of my receipts though. So that's what I was going to say. I'm a procrastinator, but I didn't completely fumble the bag. So learn the lesson from me. Obviously, don't make the mistake, do everything right the first time and things like that. Don't procrastinate or let emotions affect your business or affect you stopping things that you know you need to do, because now I'm rushing to get everything together last minute. I have all of my receipts from this past year. I also have all of my events listed and how much I made from each of my events listed that I am going to bring to my tax person to help me do my taxes this year. This is another way you can do your taxes. It's not an efficient way by any means necessary, nor is it enjoyable for you or your tax advisor or rep. So I would not recommend doing it this way. But I like to be transparent so you guys can see what actively happens if you make these decisions. Because I didn't know and now I'm here. So yeah, kind of a little bit of a headache, but also these are things you have to do because within being a small business owner, obviously I took a lot of losses this year. I put in a lot more money into my business than I got out of it, but it's okay because what I've learned and what I've been reading up on is your first 3 years of your business, you're taking losses anyways. I'm kind of aligned with where I want to be. And I'm also in a place where I'm not mad at how much I've made from my business because I haven't even fucking promoted it, honestly. I've been going through so much life shit and financial struggles, like through trying to juggle, like having a fucking full-time job and also trying to run this business, that I haven't been able to like do all of it. And so, okay, because I was going through all of that, like on the back end of like more like technical business side, I didn't want to keep booking more events, even though like I knew that I had foundational stuff that I still need to handle. Um, so what I decided to do is that I didn't promote my business at all, but I did accept clients that already knew me and already wanted my services. And the amount of people who booked me, y'all, it's only God. It's only God. But it didn't really help because I was having financial struggles. So the money didn't really get to progress my business the way I wanted it to. But it was able to inspire me and show me that I'm able to do it. So, small business owner to small business owner, let's take the tiny wins. Get ready to file your taxes. Make sure you have everything, or at least try to. Because I know for sure the first thing I'm doing after my taxes are filed this year is opening a business bank account, doing everything right so that I can move on to 2025 and start accepting clients and doing things that I need to do the more efficient and better way. Some of the other things that I'm going to do during this time to set up my foundation is, for one, set up my website. I have been paying for my domain for since May and I still haven't set up a website. So definitely doing that and not wasting the coin on that. Like I said, also stop procrastinating and taking care of the legal things that I need to do with my business, and also formulating my social media strategy. It's so crazy when you run two businesses and a career. Like, I think it's the ADHD in me because who the fuck told me to do all this shit? Like, literally, who told me to sign up for all this shit? With all that, it's just hard to get anything done. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm trying my best though, and it's gonna get better. But as of right now, this is what my best is. So my point was though, it's crazy. I have a social media management business and I do this all day for like my clients, but doing it for myself and my own businesses is so hard for me to like stick on schedule and like make sure I'm doing what I need to do for my own businesses. So also setting up like a legitimate social media strategy like I would for a client, but for myself and my personal businesses.